Hi there, this is Jackie Chiatti, Microsoft Certified Trainer, specializing in teaching people how to do data analysis using Excel and Power BI. I wanted to share with you today just something I came up with. I was working as a data analyst consultant, and it was just something I put together as a client, just as an afterthought that they thought was very helpful, and I've gone on to use it with other projects. What you're looking at today is what the data looks like before, and then here is what it looks like after. And with this, we have a slicer, which is an interactive filter that allows us to filter the list by the first initial of the vendor's name. And if we want to select multiple vendors, then we click one, like for example, I click E, hold down my control key and click H. And now I'm seeing all the vendors whose names start with the initials E or H. Okay. To clear this out, I just click the X. So this is how we set it up. I've lined the steps up over here on the right. And the first thing we do is create an Excel table. Okay. So the shortcut to create an Excel table is Control T like table. But because I have an idea of what I want the format to look like, I'm going to use the Home tab on my ribbon. So on the Home tab on the ribbon, I'm going to go to Styles, and then here on the Format as Table, I am going to select the table style that I want. So this is the one I want. Is the table dialog box pops up. It's identified my range. I'm going to put a check mark next to my table has headers so that it does use the top row as my header row, and click OK. Boom, my table is created. Now what I want to do is I want to insert a row. So I'm simply going to click row 1, right click row 1, and then left click insert, and it inserts a row. And I'm going to extend that row a little bit because that's where my slicer is going to end up. Okay, next I want to remove my grid line. So I'm going to go to the View tab in the ribbon and uncheck grid lines. Okay, now I want to add a column to this table. So I'm just going to come here and type LI. Whoops, wrong space, Jackie. In column E, row 2, I'm going to type LI. I'm sorry, IN for initial. And then I'm going to use the left function. With the left function, you give it a cell and you tell it the number of characters on the left that you wish to extract. Since we only want the first initial, I'm going to use the number 1. So equal left, open parentheses. The text is the vendor's name. So I'm going to click the cell that has the vendor's name, comma, number of characters is 1. My function is done. I can hit enter and it fills it in. Okay. Now we want to create a slicer. So I'm just going to click anywhere in the table, go to the table design tab on the ribbon and click insert slicer. This is where I select the field that I want my slicer to have. So I'm going to select the IN field because that's the field I want my slicer to have. And it gives me, the initials. Now, before I continue, I want to hide this column. So I'm simply going to right click the letter E, left click hide. Column is hidden and out of the way. And then I want to format my slicer. So I'm going to select the slicer, go to the slicer tab in the ribbon, and let's say I wanted to have 6 columns. I think that's the number of columns I need. Maybe I add a little bit more depth to row 1. And then put my slicer in here. Of course, you can modify, like make the background a little bit gray so the slicer pops out a little bit more. But this is where we're going to just leave it for now. Now, select the slicer again on the slicer tab on the ribbon. I'm going to click slicer settings. I do want to display the header, but instead of that IN, the caption I want to give it is to say select vendor. And maybe that's all I need. And then go ahead and click OK. And now you see that we've pretty much recreated what we had here. Table format is a little bit different, but it operates the same. If I click A, I only see my A vendors. If I hold down my shift key and click C, now I'm seeing A through C, and I can use that to select my vendors. And then if someone comes to the sheet, I can simply come here, click the X, clear that out, and go back to my list. So again, relatively straightforward way of setting up something that gives your users some interactivity and interacting with your data. And I just wanted to show this to you to make the point of, as a consultant and even as a trainer, always be in tune with what your client needs. Sometimes it doesn't take a lot of bells and whistles. Sometimes it can be something like this that really gives impact and makes your client happy. So go ahead, try this out, and please type in the comments. Let me know what you think, if you found it useful. If you have any additional questions related to this, go ahead and type them in the comments as well. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if that feels right for you. Thank you so much for watching.